Hi there, my name is Mark, and you may have seen me on previous vlogs on this channel with Evan when we were doing healthy food challenges while he was visiting me in San Francisco, and I was practically gagging at the end of each challenge. But today is my first vlog going solo, and in honor of that, I guess you can say, is I am going to talk about 4 of my closest and dearest friends. I've been living in San Francisco for more than 3 years, and I've made some new and amazing friends since then, but these 4 friends in particular that I want to talk about are friends who I practically grew up with. We've known each other for about a decade, and as cliche as it is to say this, if it weren't for them, I'm pretty sure that I would not be the person I am today. And in no particular order, the first person I want to talk about is Adla. I first met her in middle school in 2004. First impression of her, what is this thing? Words can't really describe that one, and I've known her for more than 10 years, and I still don't know how to describe her because you really have to meet her to understand what I'm saying, but she was always kind of an oddball, needless to say, and she was always like the clumsy one and the ditzy one of the group, so there were definitely a lot of laughs with her around. We've had many amazing memories together, but I think one of my favorite memories with Adla was during our community college days when we would, while other people were hanging out at the mall or the beach, we were hanging out at Tom Bradley International Terminal of LAX. Adla and I have always had a common love and passion for traveling, but obviously we could never afford it, so hanging out at Tom Bradley International Terminal was our way of getting the international traveling experience without having to actually pay for boarding a plane. I haven't seen Adla in many years because she lives in Virginia now, but we talk here and then, and I miss her. Hope she gets to visit San Francisco soon. The only thing about Adla is that she's a Republican, so I'm hoping that one day she'll wake up and realize that Republicans are everything that's wrong with this country, and she needs to be not affiliate herself with that party. That's all I'm saying with that. Next person I want to talk about is Samantha. I met Samantha in my sophomore year of high school, and my first impression of her was, who is this bitch? Samantha was always like the more quiet one, and she kind of had like a very blunt look on her face, so it kind of came off as bitchy, but getting to know her, she's a total sweetheart. She was definitely one of the most loyal friends I could ever ask for, and she was always, and is still always willing to share food excursions with me because she's a total foodie. My favorite memory of Samantha, again, there are many, but from the top of my head, it would have to be the days in high school when she was part of the academic decathlon, and while it was her duty, I guess you can say, to stay in the classroom and study for hours and hours at a time, I would like convince her to ditch that to come hang out with me at the beach. And then she'd use the excuse that she had a doctor's appointment, and and then she'd show up back in the class room like 3 hours later with me in the background laughing awkwardly. So that was a lot of fun. Samantha still lives in LA, so when I do go down to LA to visit every now and again, we do hang out, and what do we do each time I visit? We grab Korean barbecue because no other city can do Korean barbecue the way LA can. Next person I would like to talk about is Kimberly. Kimberly is someone I also met in my sophomore year of high school, and my first impression of her was, oh my god, this girl thinks I'm insane. When we first met, it was because it was an AP World History, and her pencil rolled off her desk and fell to the floor, and for some reason, I thought it was like the most hilarious thing, and I remember giggling to myself and her turning back and looking at me like I'm this complete weirdo, and I'm sure she still thinks I'm a weirdo, but that's part of the friendship. Whenever we're together, there's just something about our dynamic that makes us, like, kind of stupid and ditzy and clumsy, and it's like we can't function properly when we're together, but it always leads to a lot of laughs. My favorite memory of Kimberly was in our college years, our community college years, when we had our version of the burn book from the Mean Girls. We wrote everything in that composition book, from our feelings to talking about guys to rating guys, and there was a period when I wrote a lot of sexual short stories, and it was very vivid and very detailed. So one day, Kimberly's parents found this said notebook, and every page they turned, it said penis, 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 men this, men that, sex this, sex that. And my short stories were very detailed, to the point where her parents actually believed that we ditched school for a couple days to go off to Vegas and get into sex into sexcapades there. It was not funny at the time because it kind of resulted into a halt in our friendship, because her parents made her stop hanging out with me because they thought that I was influencing her to do all these horrible sexual things with other guys, when clearly that was all just make-believe. But it's fun to look back at that and laugh at everything. Kimberly lives in Washington now with her family, but I recently went to Washington with my now ex-boyfriend a couple months ago, and we were able to reunite and catch up there and like hike Mount Rainier, and that was so much fun. And last but not least, the last person I want to talk about is the mastermind behind this whole YouTube vlogging channel. And that person is Evan. I first met him in my sophomore year of high school as well. When I first met him, it was in 10th grade biology, and I was trying to cheat off of his test. Surprise, surprise, I was not ready for the exam. So I started looking around and for the best person to cheat off of. And then I saw Evan, the only Asian in my surroundings, so I figured, oh, this guy has to be smart. But boy, was I wrong. When I turn around, trying to like creep over to see what's on his test, what he did was he covered his exam and he goes, "Hey, buddy," and then that was pretty funny at the time. And then as we got to know each other, I realized that was a mistake, because he did not take school seriously at all. And I don't even know why he covered that paper, because he didn't even write anything down. He was just staring blankly at the wall for who knows why. Definitely a lot of favorite memories with Evan, because he's always getting me into situations that involve me getting a panic attack or getting worried about getting in trouble with authority. But my favorite memory of Evan is when we were with Adla hiking Palos Verdes in SoCal, and we were going down the hill, and he was going down the hill 60 miles per hour, barely pressing on his brakes, and it was just insane. Adla and I were getting like thrown from side to side of the seat. There were sharp turns. It was insane. Like, we easily could have died that day, and there's a video of it somewhere on Facebook, which we'll probably eventually post up later. And as nerve-wracking as it was at the time, it's fun to look back on now and see how insane that was, because when it comes to driving, he's just insane. Evan lives in LA, but he just recently visited me in San Francisco, which is why we were able to do all these healthy food challenges and whatnot, and that was a blast. It was his first time traveling on his own. It was his first time in San Francisco, and not to toot my own horn, but I think I showed him a pretty good time. And then overall, as with any friendship, I have gone through my ups and downs with Kimberly, Adla, Samantha, and Evan. We've even had periods where we didn't talk for months because of a fight, or because we were just preoccupied with other things going on in our life. which is why we wanted to create this channel, because it's a way for us to stay connected with each other and kind of keep each other up to date with our lives without the pressure of having to reply on Facebook or text messages all the time when, as adults, you have a lot of things going on. So, like I said, I hope you'll see Samantha, Kimberly, or Adla on this channel sometime soon. Evan, you will definitely see. And thank you for tuning in, and see you later.